Shilpi has quoted a verse. When the pot is broken, the space within it is absorbed in the infinite space and becomes undifferentiated. When the mind becomes pure, I do not perceive any difference between the mind and the Supreme Being. And then a long question follows. Shilpi has tried a lot and written 2 long paragraphs telling of her understanding of the quoted verse. And then she has said, is my understanding completely ridiculous and merely theoretical? Please say something. The verse is, when the pot is broken, the space within it is absorbed in the infinite space and becomes undifferentiated. When the mind becomes pure, I do not perceive any difference between the mind and the Supreme Being. The pot is that which makes you think that you are little. That you need protection. All of these are the characteristics of the pot, aren't they? The pot is first of all a form. Then the pot is a limited thing. Then the pot is a differentiated thing, in the sense one pot differs from another pot. And also the pot is an insecure thing, in the sense that pots are liable to be broken. And pots can have different colors and shapes and sizes and genders and whatnot. Pots even can belong to different sects, communities, religions. A Muslim pot and the Hindu pot. Male pot and female pot. Oh, you have them in the lavatories, don't you? The pot is what gives you distinction. The pot is also what gives you a lot of fear. What if there is a better pot? What if there is a bigger pot? What if the bigger pot decides to crush me down? And if there are pots, there are also going to be hammers. The world of duality is full of opposites. To be a pot gives you a certain unique identity, but it also gives you a lot of tremors. It gives you consciousness, because if you are a pot, you must always remain alert. So being a pot is to have limited, individualized consciousness. But it also means that you cannot really enjoy freely. The pot goes out to enjoy and returns broken. Oh, careless pot. Can a pot ever enjoy freely, fly freely, mingle freely? A pot is bound to remain tense. So that's the pothood that is being talked of. Then it is said, when the pot is broken, then the space within it merges with the infinite space. And when the mind becomes pure, I do not perceive any difference between the mind and the Supreme Being. You must first of all know that the pot is not the physical body. The pot is the sense, the feeling, the confidence, the belief that there is a distinction. The more you believe in your distinctions, the more you act as the pot. What do I mean? What I mean is, the more you are identified with that which makes you distinct, the more pot-like are you. What makes you distinct from the other? Tell me. Space has no distinctions, right? But the pots have distinctions. If you are identified with that which makes you different compared to the other, then you are living as a pot. Now, what makes you different from the other? How are human beings different?
Thought process.
Your thoughts are different, and your economic status is different, and your name is different, and the more you believe in things that are different between man and man and man and animal and man and inanimate things, the more you are behaving like a pot. If that is what it means to live like a pot, what does it mean to break the pot? To live as a pot means to live identified with that which is distinct about you. Then what does it mean to break the pot?
Remove those differences.
Does it mean to remove those differences? Can you remove those differences? Can you remove the difference between a man and a woman? Disidentify. To not to live as that which is distinct about you. You have a distinct name. If you believe you are that who is called by that name, then you are living as the pot. You have a distinct tone, voice, complexion, whatnot. The more you live as that, the more you are the pot. Breaking the pot means I do not take these differences too seriously. I do not live as that which varies between man and man. I do not take that seriously, which makes me separate from the world. That is what is meant by the breaking of the pot. The Gita then says, then there is no difference between the mind and the Supreme Being. What it then means is that the will of the Supreme Being now becomes the desire of the mind. The shlok says, then there is no difference between the mind and the Supreme Being, which means that the acts of the mind are now submerged in the will of the Supreme Being. So God's will is now manifesting as your desire. So now you have the freedom to live by your desire. Now you don't really need to censor yourself. Neither do you need to chase your desire. That's the difference between human desire and divine desire. When a human being desires, he has to work to fulfill his desires. When God desires, the desire is the execution. What does kun faya kun mean? Huh? What does it mean when it is said, let there be light? Let there be light, and then there was light. The desire itself is the fulfillment. That is what is meant by kun faya kun. When you desire, you know that you are here and fulfillment is There. So you have to work hard to fulfill your desire. When God desires, the moment there is desire, it is fulfilled. It is done. That's what happens to the desires of those who are aligned with God. Their desires do not go unfulfilled. They desire and it happens. They desire and it just happens. In other words, they only desire that which is happening. Because now their desire cannot go against the desire of the will of God. So what is happening cannot be distinct from their desire. So they desire and it happens, and whatever is happening is their desire. So there is no conflict. They are never found complaining. Are you getting it? That is what is meant by breaking of the pot. Now the sky outside is the sky inside. Now God's will is my will. I will never say life is so bad. A fellow was going towards the east. And a strong wind started blowing towards the west. He started going towards the west. Do not do that. Because you walk with a purpose. You are probably going to the grocery. And the grocery is towards the east. So even if the winds are blowing towards the west, you keep walking towards the east. That is necessary for you. But there are minds. There is that mind which is never at war with the universe. Never. A student went to a Zen master and asked, Master, what to do when it is hot and when it is cold? Master said, be hot, be cold. Never be at war with existence. When it's hot, be hot. When it's cold, be cold. Full stop. What's the point of conflict? Too difficult. Don't try to grasp it with mind. You can't grasp air with your clenched fists, can you? India captured it very nicely. Jahi vidhi rakhe Ram, tahi vidhi rahiye.
But is it not surrender?
When you look at it, it is these are utterances of those who lived it. These are not theoretical concepts to be evaluated. They didn't evaluate these things. They lived them and then uttered. We were in the Kodiala camp, and I remember one particular group was singing Koi din ladu, koi din phaka. You remember that? Anybody here? A few more lines.
करना फकीरी तो क्या दिलजीरी सदा भजन में रहना
सदा भजन में रहना जी. करना फकीरी
तो क्या दिलजीरी
तो क्या दिलजीरी. कोई दिन लाडू, कोई दिन खाजा, और कोई दिन फाकम फाका जी. Don't evaluate it. If you evaluate it, a lot will come to your mind. Refrigerator, why can't I store for the next day? Insurance policy, indigestion, calorie count. It's lived. It's the expression of those who are in it. Just the expression. Not the roadmap. There's a difference between a roadmap and a song of arrival. You understand the difference? A roadmap tells you how to reach there. And the song is when you are there. When you are there. The songs of saints arise when you are there.